want to speak to all of you, but especially those of you who are Christians. I feel actually quite confident that America is waking up. Because everywhere I go now, I'm seeing Americans that are saying, tell us what to do. It makes me feel good because we've slept through about the last decade. And that's one of the reasons we are where we are. One of the main reasons we are where we are today is because the church has been asleep. When the ACLU and Code Pink and Acorn and MoveOn.org have more authority and influence in our country than the church, the country's upside down. We're our own worst enemy, fellow Christians. We're our own worst enemy because we're divided over denominational issues and theological issues. We need to unify. We need to be one because the church has had a tremendous influence on building this country. But because we're divided, we've lost our moral authority and influence in America. And I would say to you, those of you who are of the Christian faith, and I don't assume that you all are, and you certainly, I'm not associated with any denomination just like I'm not associated with any political party. It is time for us as Christians, Bible-believing Christians, to unify and be one and get beyond denominational lines. You see, the church has always had a tremendous influence in this country until we went to sleep a few decades ago. And we let other organizations that were speaking with one voice, that were unified, and that were willing to make sacrifices, we've let them take the authority that the church once had. You see, there was a guy named John Peter Gabriel Muhlenberg. His name was John Peter Gabriel Muhlenberg because his father and his grandfather were theologians. He was in Woodstock, Virginia. If you ever drive up through the Shenandoah Valley on Interstate 81, stop in Woodstock, Virginia. You see his little church. It's still there. The 21st of January, 1776, John Peter Gabriel Muhlenberg, who had spent 2 years in Europe getting a theological degree, who knew the Word of God, who understood Christian theology, walked into his church on the 21st of January, 1776, 2 hours early, and he began to pray. He said, God, what would you have me do? He began to read his Bible. It came time for the service to start, and John Peter Gabriel Muhlenberg heard people assembling out in the sanctuary. And he knew there was a lot of people out there because of the noise. He got up and put his robe on, his clerical robe. He walked out into the sanctuary with his Bible. And he looked, and there was standing room only all around the walls. People sitting in every seat in the sanctuary, mothers holding their children on their lap. And began to preach a sermon from Ecclesiastes 3. And as he read from Ecclesiastes 3, he came near the end of his sermon and he said, there's a time for peace, there's a time for war. Then he said this, the Bible tells us, friends, that there's a time to preach and there's a time to pray. And the time for me to preach has gone away. And now is the time for war. The drums began to roll outside, and he walked out, got on his horse, and he looked around at the assembled men there, followed him out of the church, and he said, and who among you will fight with me in this cause of liberty? He led 333 men through the Revolutionary War, achieving the rank of Major General. He was a theologian. Christians have to stand up and become an army. People of faith, I don't care whether you're Protestant or Catholic, I don't care what denomination you are, if you're a Christian, you got to stand up and do just like John Peter Gabriel Muhlenberg. I'm not talking about going to your closet and getting your gun out. I'm talking about rising up as a spiritual army and stopping what's happening in our country. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We are doing it right now. because Christians are waking up, Americans are waking up. We're going to take this country back. May the Lord bless you. God bless you.